Hello comrades, it's Comrade Reese here, and today I'm going to be talking about the question of the state. The question of the state is almost certainly the most widely misunderstood and misrepresented aspect of Marxism. So comrades, I'm going to start off this video with a question, and this question is, should the capitalist state be smashed? Yes, of course it should be smashed. But it is the question of what should replace it, which is where I fall out with the anarchists in particular. Us Marxist-Leninists recognise that the liberation of the proletariat can only be achieved through the overthrow of the bourgeoisie and the disappearance of classes. When classes have finally disappeared, the state will have no function to perform. The state, by its very nature, has an instrument of one class to oppress and suppress another class. Once there is no longer another class to be oppressed and suppressed, the state really does not have a job anymore. And its functions, to the extent that there are some functions to be performed, become mere administration of things rather than ruling. The political state as such disappears. The final defeat of the bourgeoisie has not yet been achieved anywhere in the world, and realistically there will be no final defeat until capitalism has been overthrown in at least the overwhelming majority of the world's countries. Anarchists, on the other hand, want to completely abolish the state overnight, while failing to understand the conditions which gave rise to the coming of the historical scene of the state, and what conditions must be there for it to disappear. Secondly, us Marxist-Leninists recognise that after the conquest of political power, the proletariat must utterly destroy the old capitalist state and substitute for it a worker state, consisting of an organisation of armed workers, similar to that of the Soviet state. The Soviet state is the best example that the working class had of a worker state. Anarchists, on the other hand, while insisting on the destruction of the capitalist state, have absolutely no clear idea what the proletariat will put in its place and how it will use its revolutionary power. They even deny that the proletariat should use state power. They deny its revolutionary dictatorship. Us Marxist-Leninists insist that the proletariat should be prepared for revolution by utilising the present system, such as taking part in parliamentary elections, local elections, trade union activities and so on. Because the preparation for the next system cannot be done in the next system. It can only be done under the present system. Now, if you're not getting what I'm saying here, each generation is born into a system of production. It does not choose it. It comes to that system, accepts it, and it adapts itself to it. Only in that system it makes preparations. It is no different for us than it was for the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie grew and developed within the conditions of feudalism, and it prepared itself, not from the very beginning. They had no idea. They were absolutely always aspiring to get the favour of the kings. They were aspiring themselves to be the landowning class, because the landowning class is the ruling class, and the ruling class is always the class that is respected the most. Anarchists do support the revolution to overthrow capitalism. However, they believe that once the revolution has succeeded in its initial aims of overthrowing capitalism, there is no longer a need for a state, and that the people will simply be able to manage their own affairs. To destroy the state in such a rush would destroy the only organism by means of which the victorious working class can assert its newly conquered power, defeat its capitalist enemies, and carry out that economic revolution of society without the fear of the whole victory ending in a new defeat and in a mass slaughter of the workers similar to that after the Paris Commune. Now, I know this video was very brief, but if you want a more detailed explanation of the question of the state, then I'd recommend that you go and read Lenin's book, The State and Revolution.